The next mental preparation for Operation Hasten is removing obstacles. We will not be able to progress while obstacles stand in our path, yet we must overcome them. Every turn will present obstacles and difficulties. And when we look here, we read in the biblical instruction that we are to take up the stumbling block away out of my people. And so the question is, what are these stumbling blocks? And how do we heed this call to ensure that there's no obstacles preventing us or others from moving forward in the work that God has called us to do? Progress becomes impossible when obstacles block our path. And so we must identify and remove these. Whether it's people, circumstances, right? We can't allow anything to hinder our progress. We read, you will have obstacles and difficulties to encounter at every turn, and you must with firm purpose decide to conquer them, or they will conquer you. This statement underscores the necessity of determination and a conquering mindset. If we allow challenges to conquer us, our progress fails. Victory is not optional. Sometimes it's circumstances, but other times it's people. We read, there are some minds which do not grow with the work, but allow the work to grow far beyond them. Those who do not discern and adapt themselves to the increasing demands of the work should not stand blocking the wheels and thus hinder the advancement of others. We have far more to fear from within than without. The hindrances to strength and success are far greater from the church itself than from the world. But how often have the professed advocates of the truth proved the greatest obstacles of its advancement? There are so many, especially with the youth, that have zeal and a desire to step out and make a change and really move forward for Christ, yet those above them are afraid of this, and they hold them down, and they try to hold them back. We see this in projects and ministries, initiatives where youth want to take action but are held back. Now, it doesn't mean that they should be released unfettered. The idea is that they should have mentoring and guidance, but we should not be stopping them. There's an interesting concept, this idea of there's various different roles in a team. And in every environment, you're going to find different types of team members. Some push forward, right? Others hold back. Others do nothing. We need to kind of ask ourselves, which role are we playing? Are we pulling it forward? Are we leading? It's, critical to understand our position. Some are early adopters. So, some are innovators pushing things forward. Then those who just kind of come along for the ride and don't contribute. That's that early and late majority. Lastly, there are the laggards, those who are actively holding back progress. There are in our churches those who profess the truth, but are only hindrances to the work of reform. They're cogs in the wheel of the car of salvation. Are we blocking the wheels? Is there something right now that I'm doing or that you're doing that's blocking the wheels of movement from stopping around us, right? We have no time to waste. We can't continue to block. When new methods have been advocated, so many doubtful questions have been introduced, so many councils held and every difficulty might be discerned, that reformers have been handicapped. And some have ceased to urge reforms. They seem unable to stem the current of doubt and criticism. Innovators and early adopters are often brutally bashed by late majority and laggards. And this demoralizes them, causing them to slow down or give up altogether. We see this when the pioneers of Madison School faced obstacles that were not placed by the Lord, but by finite human planning. And we need to ensure that we are not using our own plans to block the divine work. It's this idea of being dead wood. Right? Ellen White talks about this. Those who are no longer contributing to the mission, or worse, hindering it, need to step aside so that the work can move forward. Those who are in doubt and distrust the assurance of his grace dishonor Christ. They're unproductive trees that shut away the sunlight from other plants, causing them to droop and die under the chilling shadow. The life work of these persons will appear as a never-ceasing witness against them. These individuals are preventing others from thriving. We read how another example, another analogy of this barren tree. So these tall trees are receiving rain and sunshine and God's care, and it draws nourishment from the soil, but its unproductive boughs only darken the ground so that fruit-bearing plants cannot flourish in its shadow. So God's gifts lavish on you convey no blessing to the world. You are robbing others the privileges that but for you might have been theirs. Those who receive God's blessings that do not contribute to his work are robbing others. This idea of this barren tree, right? These tall trees. And we see in the shadow of so many other tall trees, barren trees, the youth are becoming sickly and worthless. If transplanted, they would have room to grow strong and vigorous. The youth in our movement are being stifled by the older generation. We need to create space for them to grow. It's almost visualized like this, all this dead wood, capturing the sunlight and taking the nutrients. We got to get in with an axe. We got to prune it back. Praying the Holy Spirit removes these people, impresses their minds their need to step aside. We need to be watering these and caring for these small plants. That way they can grow. This is the role of mentorship. The tall trees need to step aside, need to find ways where they don't cast shade on the younger trees. Encourage individuality. Encourage youth leadership. So I ask you individually, are you casting shade on smaller trees? And let us be careful lest we counterwork the hindrance of the progress that others are doing and delay the gospel message. Right? Let us be careful, right, that we do not hinder the progress of others. In Jeremiah we read, a curse on anyone who is lax doing the Lord's work. A curse on anyone who keeps their sword from bloodshed, who doesn't join the fight. This is a military battle. We are in the great controversy. Curse on you if you have not joined the fight. It's a curse on anyone who is inactive right now and not moving forward. Inaction is unacceptable. We are called to be active in the fight for the gospel. And we have a promise that all difficulties will be removed if we seek the Lord and be converted every day. All your murmurings will be stilled, all your difficulties will be removed, and the perplexing problems that now confront you will be solved. We must exercise the faith of Caleb, who overcome great obstacles trusting in God. And this is what we need today. We need Caleb's. People with the courage to push for immediate action. And I'm going to talk more about this concept in the next video, but it's this idea that we need to understand where we are in the adoption bell curve. Because we need to understand what present truth is. And if we're holding back present truth because we still believe that we are in the previous church, if we haven't followed Christ into the most holy place, then we are standing in the way. If we are on committees where the youth are present, but we're holding them back and not allowing them to shine, we are standing in the way. If we are making a huge footprint, even in a good ways, even when I ran the school last year, I understood that I did not want to be a tall tree. I did not want everyone just to be looking at me, oh, Rob's going to do it, Rob's going to do it, and I won't have to do it. You have to keep putting everything back on the youth, allowing them to understand that it's their generation, it's their time to shine, giving them the guidance they need, but encouraging them to step up and take that leadership role. And so with this, again, I just want to point out this concept that we need to be clearing away obstacles. We need to be thinking about what our role is, and we need to be thinking about, am I ultimately that dead wood? And how can we clear this out in order for the next generation to shine?